Hi, I'm Raina Morgan with iHealthTube. We're visiting with Dr. Christopher Lepisto. He is a naturopathic physician here in Grand Junction, Colorado. Welcome.
Thank you, Raina.
I'd like to ask this simple question, but it probably has a complex answer. What is toxicity?
Right. Toxicity is a picture that develops when we're talking about human health, when we're looking at the overall exposure that we get both from internal and external toxins. So internal toxins would be examples of, say, what's in the food, what we get ingested, other things that are natural products of cellular metabolism, like the waste products.
Okay.
In other words, a normal, healthy human will still be producing some waste products that need to be eliminated that can be toxic in the body. The external toxins we're talking about, that's the exposures that we get. It can be from air sources, from the water. It can also be things that become ingested along with the foods. And there are things that have direct effects on our bodies from an external manifestation, an external environment.
So most of us would think of it more in terms of external, wouldn't we? Would think of the diet and like pollutants and things.
Exactly.
Like that. But there's actually an internal mechanism too.
Yeah, and the way to think about it is that the normal body has a certain amount of waste that it produces. What usually ends up happening is that system gets overwhelmed by what comes in from the outside with, say, pesticides and herbicides and hormones and medications, etc. So the analogy I like to use is a barrel analogy.
Okay.
And what that is imagine inside of us we have a barrel that is of a certain size, and it fills with toxins that we've been describing, external, the products of normal metabolism, toxic relationships. Let's not forget about, about the emotional considerations, etc. These can be stresses in the workplace, spiritual considerations. Some of us come in with a different set of cards. Pretty soon, when anyone's barrel gets full, it starts spilling over, and then we start to see certain symptoms that come about, and there tends to be a certain picture that develops.
Okay, so the barrel analogy is your purification, your internal purification system can't work anymore. It's overwhelmed.
That's right. And remember the analogy with the canary in the coal mine?
Yes.
Yes. So what these miners used to do is they'd take these canaries into the mines because they knew that when the toxic levels of gas rose, then the canaries would get overwhelmed far before the men would, right? So these poor little canaries with tiny little barrels, right? They served their purpose for what the men needed, which is that they knew they had to get out when those toxic levels of gas rose and when the canaries died.
But we don't have that kind of mechanism. We just start getting symptoms, right?
Right. And of course you can get to a point at which you're sick enough that you'll die. But mostly what happens is people start to develop a symptom picture. For example, they can't have caffeine in the afternoon whatsoever, or it just makes them totally jittery or keeps them up at night. They have symptoms even walking in the supermarket aisle, of the detergent aisle in the supermarket.
The perfumes.
Perfumes and odors, and it's more than just, ooh, I don't like those. A lot of people don't like cigarette smoke, for example, but they may get headaches, or they may get dizzy even just walking in the detergent aisle. That can indicate a full barrel. Or other symptoms like strange and bizarre reactions to medications. It says I'm taking the normal dose, even over the counter, or even natural supplements. I'm taking what it says to be taking, and either they get strange reactions or they may double the dose with no reactions whatsoever. Because of the chemical burden, the toxic burden in the body, it will disrupt the normal function of these medications and supplements.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Lepisto.